And I never dreamed that my Plexus journey would turn into what it did. So, I mean, the whole reason I joined was weight loss. Yes, that worked. That's what drawed, the people into me. I had a different side gig that I was doing. And when I was on my lives with those, I was literally just, I was getting more questions about how I was losing weight than about the product I was trying to sell people. So that's when I knew I needed to start sharing. So I did. And so everything took off like an absolute rocket. And I had no clue what I was doing, literally trying to just keep my head above water. Was it awesome? Yes. Was it amazing getting those fast start bonuses, and getting all of the income that I'd never had ever in my life? Yes, it was absolutely amazing. I went, fast start senior Ruby, and that was in April. So, but then it all fell apart. And I definitely took it extremely personal. And by all fall apart, I mean my business. I was over 1,000 points. I was definitely thought I was headed towards Emerald and that I was going to be there in no time. And retention did not work. For me. Sorry, I don't mean it doesn't work. I just meant it wasn't working for me. And I definitely fell. I went down over 700 points. So back down to the 300s. Not in 1 month, but it took me time to fall down, obviously. So I went into this denial. I don't really even know what to call it. I definitely went into the darkest place I've ever been in my life. If you know me at all, I'm generally pretty happy-go-lucky. I generally don't have issues, like depression and all of that. I just never have. I'm very blessed with that. But I went there deep this summer when all of this happened. I took it completely personal. That all of these people stopped. When I was first doing this, I mean, I was enrolling. I mean, we were as a team doing over 100 a month, but personally, I was sponsoring anywhere from 30 to 70 people myself in a month. And when all these people stopped, I definitely took it to heart. And I thought I was the problem. And I thought I had just let all these people down and I had disappointed them. And the reason they weren't losing weight, it was all my fault, is because I was not following up. I was not coaching. I was not there for them. But literally, I just couldn't even keep up. I mean, when I have literally over 300 people on my team and I'm trying to check in on them all, I just literally could not do it. So I definitely, I guess my way of responding was just not to do anything at all. I just immediately withdrew from everything. I mean, I was trying to sort of keep up, but then I definitely was doing nobody any justice at all. So this summer, I just definitely saw myself getting worse. And I really thought I was just done with this. I'll go back to the jewelry business where I could sell definitely and, do okay there. I definitely didn't make the money I was making, but at least I wasn't hurting people or disappointing people or letting people down. And not only had I done that with the 300 people that were underneath me, but I had done it to myself. And then I felt I had also done it to my upline as well, that I had let all of those ladies down too. So I definitely took it very personal. So I can tell you that Addie, I don't even know if she's on here. Sorry, I'd have to scan really quick. But late summer, early fall, like really more late summer, Addie started coming to life. And Addie and I do not know each other except through Plexus. That's the only way I even know her. So I watched Addie start not leading, but just stepping out, I guess, from her normal, what I knew of her as normal. And I thought, oh, that's really awesome, because she wasn't, a big, strong leader. And then I watched her like just become this. I never said anything, but I'm literally just sitting back and watching her. So she just really, really inspired me to dig a little deeper. And I didn't know anything about her story or anything like that. I just knew her from watching her on these Zooms. So when I saw Addie do it, it inspired me to find some way to find myself again. So I dug into podcasts after podcast after podcast. I went to YouTube and I just started subscribing to everything I could possibly subscribe to. Mostly Plexus people, but not 100%. Oprah's actually kind of inspirational too. But I just kept watching all kinds of inspirational things, especially like Brooke and Emily. They're all very inspiring people. So whenever I had first started this, I would hear my upline talk about doing mindset work. And I'm like, yeah, they're full of crap. I don't need any of that stuff. That's just mumbo jumbo. Well, again, somebody proved me wrong. They were right. And I was so wrong. So much of this has been mindset work. So Addie, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that whenever you were coming out of your little time, that I'm sure you had no idea you were inspiring somebody else at all. You were just in your own survival mode, and I understand that completely. So I say this to anyone that has been anywhere. It has nothing to do with, just Plexus, anywhere in your life, and you have felt yourself fall back. Trust me, you are not a failure. You may feel like it, but you are not a failure. And if your points slip back, guess what? At one point in time, you were really happy with that number that you slipped back to. I can remember the first time on my way up when I hit the 300s, I was like, yes. And of course, now I'm in the 300s and I've been like, oh, snap. So trust me, at one point in time, that number was fabulous to you. You just need to get yourself back there again. I had went down every month for 6 months until last month. And last month I went up by 1 point, and I celebrated that 1 point. Any other time I'd have been like, but nope, I wasn't. I was going to be super happy about it. And that 1 point totally did it for me. So I just want to remind you that, you know what? Stuff happens. And just because you had a setback, that does not determine your future. And honestly, listening on YouTube to those diamond documentaries, I had no clue, none, that anybody had fallen back on points before. I thought I was alone. I thought I was the first one. Y'all, some of them diamonds have done exactly what I did. They were right on the cusp of emerald and then went tanked and back in the 300s. And I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody else has been there. I'm not alone. And you're not alone either. These feelings that I have had, oh my gosh, they have been awful. So for the first time ever, I ordered the Vital Biome and I started taking that. And you guys, it has been a life changer. It has. So I just encourage you to get into YouTube. There is so much good in there. Do the podcast. I know we share them quite a bit, but there are so many out there. And like Beyond the Rank that Emily has, that's a free one, but she also has a paid one, and it's getting ready to open back up again next week. And I will have a coupon if anybody wants in her stuff. But listening to Emily talk to her people in Beyond the Rank has been amazing. And Emily has her own YouTube channel, so I would suggest getting in there too. But if anybody needs anybody to talk to, I am here, y'all. I cannot imagine that y'all be feeling anything I have not felt, because I have went from high to way low, and ladies, I'm back on the high. So please don't think you're alone, because you're not. I promise you're not alone. And until I fell, I had no idea that anyone else had fallen. And I truly thought I was in all by myself. And I'm not. I'm not. So if anyone ever needs me, please reach out. It's Cindy Mason Angel on social media.
I'm like, come on, Cindy, you've got to have more good stuff for us, right? So so tell us a little bit about, what was the one thing, I know you said podcasts and all of that, but as far as like action, because that's a lot, that's mindset. Obviously, we know mindset, you guys, when I tell you that it really is so much of your business, because just think about every single one of you guys on here. When you don't feel like working your business, when someone tells you no, when something's going on in your family, why can't you kick those things? It's your mindset. It has nothing to do with action. We can send messages all day long, but if we don't have the right mindset around it, it's really hard to move the needle forward. If we're not strong between our ears, right? If our brain and our what is it? Oh gosh. Motivation, internal motivation. I'm like brain fart. If our internal motivation is not there, because, like we went to the gold retreat last weekend, and who was at the gold retreat last weekend? How, would someone like to unmute themselves and maybe talk about what you got from the gold retreat? If you found it inspiring, like what was your favorite part? I would love for you guys to share for those who didn't get to come. Anybody?
Well, I wish I was there right now, because Cindy, I would hug you so tight. Like seriously, oh Lord, I did not expect this tonight. But my gosh, girl, like I love you and I'm so proud of you. And I'm proud of everybody. The gold retreat was amazing. I'm 47. I have never been on a girls trip before. And so this was so out of my comfort zone. And I didn't know what to expect, but I walked in and it was just like old friends from years ago. And then those friends turned into family, and it was amazing, like amazing. Just being able to hug each other and talk to each other and shop and eat all kinds of great food. And we bonded. That I left there knowing that I had family, I had sisters, and it was just amazing. So thank you for all that, Andrea.
You're welcome. So would you share a little bit about maybe what we did there, like vision boards, like how did that, I want you guys to share a little bit about what went on, because I know every time I leave these things, I always feel like like a breath of fresh air, and I have like a clear vision of what I need to do. And I always leave inspired, like always. We had Brooke Hemingway give a VIP training to us, which was amazing. We did vision boards. We wrote a future letter to ourselves. And so if anybody wants to unmute themselves, Jenny, where are you? Oh, girl, I know Courtney, I nominate you. Talk a little bit about the gold retreat. I saw Allie say it. So I was like, okay, I'm going.
Yeah, so I thought it was amazing. I think just, being a young mom, a lot of times, like, I feel like you can kind of lose your sense of self a little bit, and just getting away and getting with like-minded women and women that are like still dreaming and having like their own interests and goals was just so refreshing. And I would say the vision boards like really helped me, because this whole time, like Allie would always say, like, what's your why? Like, you really need to be able to see what you want. And I've had trouble with that, but the vision boards like really kind of brought it to life for me. So, and meeting everybody, it was amazing. Just kind of like putting faces to the names and, the Zoom calls. It was awesome. So thank you, everybody.
We're so glad you got to come. And it is
Yeah.
so true, you guys. Like, I know a lot of you came in, pretty much a lot of, like 99% of you guys came in on COVID before in-person events, before retreats, before any of that. And those truly have built my business. Like, I've missed one convention, and that was because I was really pregnant with West. And that is it. Like, it's a non-negotiable for me. Like, my husband knows we're going, and if he's not going, I'm going. Like, because so much vision is casted there and so much connection, because we can get on Zooms all day long, but what we had in that room that last night was like nothing I can't even tell you, because you just have to be there. And those vision boards, like we drew our things, like we didn't just copy and paste, or like, cut out and paste, like and it's hard, right, Courtney? Like, you kind of have to sit there and think, like, if you've never allowed yourself to really dream, I mean, really dream, like, because you feel like you put limits on what you feel like is a dream, right? Like, but if you're really like allowing yourself to say, what could I really do with Plexus? Like, really, like, without your hesitations, without your limitations. It's crazy what I saw on those vision boards. And I believe March is going to be a monumental month for Rise Up Village, like monumental. So I would just tell you, if you have big dreams and big goals, I would say join these ladies. Can you guys tell me who is all going for a rank in March? Will you drop it in the chat?
Can I add one more thing? So I'm a behavior therapist, and I take a client of mine to volunteer at a hospital on Tuesday. So I was there yesterday with him, and just like hearing the people that work there and like the lack of freedom, and like they're like, oh my gosh, like we only get 25 minutes for lunch every day, and like my boss and all of this stuff. And I'm just thinking, like, you can have it so much better, like being a dreamer and like really seeing where you could be, and like what you said about being in that room the last night. It's like, wow, like being in a room filled with people that like believe big and dream big still is like gives me chills. So I hope everybody knows like the potential in this company and how good it can be.
It really is so true. It's such an eye opener. And I really want you guys to get to convention. It's in Ohio. That is very close to most of you guys, if not all of you guys. I may be the furthest person away. So I want to see all of you guys there. Like, make it happen. The date is, you have several months to plan it. Get someone to watch your kids. Make it happen, because you guys, convention is amazing. So much is poured into Plexus. It's not a rinky dink convention. It is like, oh my God, they bring out just amazing speakers. And so anyways, I know we got off track from Cindy, but truly, you guys, what happened last weekend was, I feel like, a rebirth of a lot of things that really needed to happen. And if you're sitting here and you're still dealing with mindset junk, if you're still letting these everyday, I say, buffers, whatever it may be, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your husband, maybe it's your job, maybe it's the house cleaning, like, I don't know, whatever it may be, you have to decide, like, it is so much harder to be in and to be out, to be in. And I say this all the time, than to just commit and do the hard things and just lean in. And I'm sure Cindy can tell you that, like, you guys, like, that is such inspiration that she is still here. Like, it truly is, because I've been there. We've probably all been there. We have fallen back in points. I mean, I told you guys a million times about my story with Emerald. It's like I went Emerald that month and I slid back probably 600 points. Like the next month I was 900 points, right? And like barely had a team that was working. Like those orders were not, I say, not authentic orders, right? And so like, was it easy to be like, I'm going to do this all over again? And I'm sure many of you guys have re-ranked and you're thinking, oh my goodness, like, but it is possible. And the second time around, I say always is like the sweetest, because like Cindy said before, she had zero mindset growth, right? Like she might, like, yes, she's probably a very positive person. Addie always said, I was such a positive person. I never thought I needed mindset. It's so much deeper than being positive, right? It is literally how you handle things that get thrown at you each day. It's either, I used to be the person that, like, you could throw a wrench in my day and I let it ruin my, like, it could be like 3 minutes of my day that would go bad, and I would just throw in the towel and let it ruin the rest of my day. But now I can get around that, right? Like I can see like, hey, this is just a small part of my day. And the way I handle it is really gonna, have an outcome of how the rest of the day goes. And so I know there are a lot of you guys that are still dealing with mindset stuff that have been with us for a year, 2 years. And I want you to really ask yourself, is it easier to be in and out, or is it easier, I say easier, to just lean in and go through it? Because the reason why I feel like so many people are in and out, because it's easy. It's easy to step back. It's easy not to have that responsibility. It's easy to quit on your goals and your dreams, because I guarantee you're probably not letting yourself dream as big as you honestly could. And if you would allow yourself to really feel like what you truly want, it would probably shake you to the core. Yeah. What does that say? Belonging beginner? I can't read.
No, it says believing bigger, and it literally is like
Believing
everything
bigger.
we're saying, like every day. It's just like a perfect focus.
Yeah.
This is why you're going. This is what you're here for. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. While you're already unmuted.
I can read you guys today's if you want, but go ahead.
Yeah. Let me finish and you can take over. Like this is like, we kind of just wanted this to bounce back and forth, because I know like so often we hold ourselves back because we don't know what it's like to dream big. Like Courtney said, she's like, it's so inspiring to be around people that are still dreaming. And like, when I first started, and I always feel like I'm like when I first started, but really I never knew I didn't know what my why was. Like, I feel like because we don't take time to slow down to really think about what is our why. It's like, we're like, oh, to buy patio furniture, or, oh, to buy a mattress. Like, we don't allow, like, that's your dream. That's your huge dream, is to buy a mattress. Like, that might be, but I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like, really allow yourself, and you're going to evolve, right? Like for me, it was just in the beginning, just to get my products paid for. And then it was to cover gas. And then it was to do my student loans. But now it's like, now I know, like, okay, I've done the mindset work. I know what is available. And this is before I was Emerald. Like, this is because I watched the Diamond documentaries. Like, how much time are you really spending on your mindset? Or are you just going through the motions and the action? Like, you can send messages all day. You can make blanket posts, like throwing up a pink drink post, just very not thought out. And when I say thought out, I'm not talking about a book, but really strategic posts. You can do that all day long, and your business is going to be so shallow. So I want you to think where you are right now, truly, if you have been going on the hamster wheel, you have to, Brooke made such a good point. It's like, you don't want to have a renter's type business, because renters, they're in, they're out, they don't fix their own problems. They just let the landlord do it. Or do you want an owner type business? And for me, I want to fix the plumbing, right? Because I know that in the end, it's going to benefit me 10 times over than letting someone else. And that might be your sponsor or or your team, someone else carry my load because I just can't right now because I have whatever it may be. You guys, we have no leaky pipes. I'm sure Cindy is so thankful that she pushed through because her point rose at 1 point, or her points, 1 point. And you guys, like she said, you were proud to be where you were at one point. And that, I've never thought of it like that. I truly haven't. And that is so great because you have as you're climbing up, you're like, oh my God, I'm senior gold. Oh my God, I'm at 150. I'm so close to getting to senior gold. Or, oh my gosh, I'm at 300, Ruby's on the horizon. And we have to remember that you're not stuck where you are. You're stuck where you are because it could be, again, your mindset. And so I'm sure that she's so glad that she's here and she pushed through and she's dealt with it, because not only does it help her in her business and to be an excellent leader, but it helps her just in life in general to know that she is powerful enough to overcome anything. Because I'm telling you, this business is more than just an IPA sheet and a couple of videos and getting on a Zoom call every Wednesday. It teaches you life skills if you will allow it. If you truly open up and say, I'm going to be a student of network marketing, there is so much more to network marketing than actual network marketing, than what you see if you really allow it. And so, Allie, if you want to read that and kind of maybe, I'm putting you on the spot for sure, but if you kind of want to share a little bit of inspo, because let me tell you, this girl, I know you guys probably know a little bit about her story, her Emerald journey, and just kind of where you're at right now, if you're open to it. If not, it's totally no big deal, or maybe you just have some inspiration, because this girl is also very persistent and is a fighter and literally just goes through the mindset that she needs to, the mindset work that she needs to. And so, I'm always inspired by her and her words and her acronyms and all the good things. So I think that's what they're called. Is that what they're called? Your acronyms?
Yeah, I don't know if I got an acronym for you tonight, but I'll be talking tomorrow. I might have an acronym made up by
Yeah.
then.
Okay. Go ahead and just talk to us a little bit, and then we can, anyone that wants to open up or whatever, truly, we can have a gold retreat right here. I'm just kidding, but really go for it, Allie.
Thanks. I'll read this at the end, but yes, it was so funny because we all have the days where we struggle with funk and head junk and mindset and comparison. And a lot of times that happens to me. I was just in a rut, and guess what? My upline picks me up, but I know that I have to show up, and I'm going to continue to show up. We shut the door. I'll go in there in a minute. Bedtime one night. And so, long story short, you just keep showing up and you just keep doing it, and you keep filling your brain with positivity, and you do bounce back when you feel like you're at a low. So, me going for Emerald, I think 3 people hit Emerald who were going for Emerald after me, and they hit it before me, and I could have compared myself, but I couldn't do that because everyone's journey is different. So 4 months into my push, I finally hit Emerald, and I blew it out of the water. Between March and now, I've dropped about 900 points, but lost 2 rubies, lost a senior gold, lost, a lot of builders that weren't always doing the things the way that we wanted them to, or I wanted them to, but that's nothing that's nothing about my leadership. And so even though I'm still learning and growing and doing, trying to do things differently, that's part of the business. And I know I've been there before, and I'm dang well going to get back there again. And you do not need someone to resurrect your business. That starts with you and knowing where you're going and why you're not giving up. And, you just have to fight for it. It doesn't come easily, but it will happen. It's happened again. And they all said, I remember when I was sitting in my chair nursing Ashton, and I hit senior gold, and I trained when I was senior gold. And then I remember hitting ruby very shortly after. And then it took me a while, but it's just crazy that some days I feel sad about where my points are, but I also remember how far I've come. And so definitely a girl, if you ever are feeling down in the dumps about, falling back or people aren't working, or you feel like you're not doing the right things as a leader, like I'm definitely there to say I felt all those feels, and we can't compare. So if you feel like you're comparing yourself to someone, you're definitely, you know, inspiring 10 others. So we're going to get there. It's not the end of the world. And I'm going to read this. I'm going to try not to cry because it like speaks right to your soul. So it says, you are a warrior. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power and demolish strongholds. 2 Corinthians 10:14 says, influence. Like a warrior princess who knows that one day she'll be needed for battle, this is what God's been grooming you for since the day you were born. Purpose is about influence or nothing at all. Influence isn't about reach or notoriety, it's about impact. And it's your impact that most frightens the enemy. Your gifts and your voices are what activate your superpowers. The more you step into your calling and embrace your anointing, the more it may feel as if you're under attack. You're a target of the enemy because you're a threat to the enemy. But take heart, for God has already overcome the enemy, and you're fully protected by his covering. Your beauty and influence are amplified by the wealth of wisdom, imagination, and the potential inside of you. The battle then is believing that you are indeed capable, worthy, and victorious. When we believe with authority, we become a miracle waiting to happen and a supernatural weapon able to take out the darkness, doubt, disease, and despair. You're a daughter of the Most High, a natural-born warrior princess being recruited at this very moment for kingdom service, and you are a weapon, beautiful but deadly. So, there you go.
That is so good. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is so perfect for this call right now.
I know. I'm like,
I love how things just match up like that. No, and it's so true. It's your influence and you are here for a reason. And I think we really honed in on that last weekend. And I want you guys to know, every single one of you on here, you guys are here for a reason. You're not here because, like I always say, you just want to like hang out with us on a Wednesday night when you're real. You show up to these calls because you truly believe that you are going to do something with Plexus, or you are currently doing something with whatever it may be. You have a goal and you have a vision, but what is holding you back? You're the only one who knows, and you're the only one who holds that key to unlock, like literally the greatest thing ever, right? And that is, you're willing to be vulnerable. You're willing to just put your fear, you don't even have to put it aside, because fear is always going to be present, right? Fear is always going to be there. But fear is very powerful because you can turn that into so much more than letting it hold you back. And I always say, like, there's no failure when you're truly in it to learn and to grow and to make an impact. Every bump in the road, every like point loss, like if you're only judging your worthiness by a point, you have a lot of growing to do, truly. And I'm honest with that, because if you're sitting here looking and you're like, man, I'm only at 200 points, like you have a lot of growing to do and a lot of mindset work to do within yourself of how worthy you hold yourself, right? Like I don't hold myself to a point. I don't, because I know that when I start to just worry about the points and the dollar signs, that's not who I am, right? And sometimes greed can take over and we get greedy, and that's normal. But I know that when I put that aside and I get out of that mindset of just constantly checking my back office, seeing if my points are growing, seeing in that paycheck, whatever it may be. And I'm not saying that don't be motivated by the points and the money, because I mean, come on, this is a business. But I'm also saying that be motivated by stepping up and being the leader that you need to be, right? If you know that, hey, I can definitely improve in this area, and by not only stepping into that leadership role, it's going to help your team. It's also going to help you grow, because your team is only going to grow as much as you are, as much as the leader. When you've reached your leadership lid, your team is right smack dab underneath you. Like there's no, I mean, yes, someone could be like, hey, I'm going around you, but more than likely they're not waiting for me. They're not waiting for Allie. Yes, we probably, if you're kind of sleeping on the gun, we'll probably go around you if someone is super interested, but like, because we want to make sure everyone has that equal opportunity playing field. But what we want most is for you to step in and for you to even if you're like, I don't even know what to do, that's not an excuse on this team. That's not, because you have so many of us that are willing and ready to coach you up. And most of you guys have been with us for a very long time and should know how to do the simple things. And I'm saying this because I want to empower you to step into that. If you're still waiting to read a leadership book, to feel like you're being more you're going to be waiting for a really, really long time. I'm walking into year 6 on this, and I'm still learning how to lead, right? Like, you're never going to like reach this like ultimate max and be like, okay, I'm a professional leader now, like nothing else to learn, right? I think that's like the true gift of this, is that we do get to continue to learn. And if you're not learning, you're dying. I truly believe that. Like, if you're not growing, you're dying. And it gives us that opportunity to make this our full-time gig, our full-time job, our full-time, whatever you want to call it. So many of you have dreams that I've heard personally, and I'm wondering where you guys are at. We're in chasing those dreams. They're not going to chase you back. I promise you that. They're not going to chase you back. Dreams don't chase you back. And I want you guys to know that the longer you wait to say, okay, today is the day that I'm going to put X, Y, and Z behind me, and I'm going to start showing up like I have said, right? We always say like, affirmations are great, but you have to believe those affirmations. You truly have to believe those affirmations. And you have to believe that you're going to make that turnover, that you're going to change your ways. Yes, change is hard, but change is inevitable if you want to grow, right? And I'm sure you guys are seeing a common theme is growing. Growing is change. Changing is outgrowing your past circumstances. If you're still sitting in, soaking in your past circumstances, well, I don't know what it may be, but if you're still sitting there letting those determine where you are today, or someone determine where you are today, I give you like 1,000% permission to like release that and start over tomorrow. Like, what's great about it, you guys, is we are all adults and we have that gift to take a hold of our own life and start over, right? You can start new any day you want to start new. And that's the beauty of life, right? Like, we can start over. We don't have to be tied to what happened to yesterday, right? What's that saying? It's like, yesterday's heavy, put it down. And if that is how you're feeling about today, the last few weeks, the last few months, like, you're allowed to put that down and you're allowed to start over and get yourself in line with where you truly want to be, because time doesn't wait, unfortunately. And so many opportunities pass us by when we are just sleeping on the gas pedal and when we aren't fully engaged. Like, what would happen? And I know Brianna always says this, like, what would happen if you worked your business like you did all throughout the month, like you did the last week of the month, right? Like, what would happen if you showed up like that? You wouldn't have to be sitting here sick, looking at your points, being like, oh, I should be here. And I know I've done this Zoom before, but you're exactly where you deserve to be. Exactly. And that's how I feel the same about myself right now. Like, we've been pushing for Diamond for 10 months now? Like, I'm exactly where I deserve to be, but I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm adjusting, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. Like, a title, a rank, whatever it may be, does not make me any more or less of a leader. However long it takes me to get there doesn't make me any more or less of a leader. Like, I think just being consistent and not quitting and knowing like, I'm going to get there. And I remember one of the girls saying this weekend, like, oh my gosh, 5 years to get to Sapphire. Like, can you imagine like what people, like the income that comes with Sapphire and like jobs that you've got to spend 20, 30 years in to make that income? Like, where could you be if you, and that's just my journey. And I told the girls at the retreat, I was like, Brooke Hemingway and I started within a month of each other the same year. right? I could compare myself to her and be like, wow, I suck. But I don't like, I don't even look at her journey and I'm like, oh, I should totally be triple diamond right now. We are two different people. And I was doing something way different at the time I started Plexus than what she was doing when she started Plexus, right? Like, and that's fine. And so stop comparing yourself. Stop thinking you should be a further ahead. Put in the hard work, do the hard things, come prepared. If that, I know I sound like a broken record. I feel like this is all I've been talking about, but I truly know that if you are prepared, you're not going to fail. You're going to learn to pivot, but you're going to be equipped to pivot because you have come prepared. But if you show up, how many people, when you literally wake up and you have no plan for the day, do you feel like you do already? I feel like you need to write a book of acronyms, like a motivational book of acronyms. Publish it. Okay, what do you got? Unmute. I want to hear.
Well, finish what you were saying.
Well, I don't even know now because I got this. I'm like squirrel. I don't even know what I was saying. What was I saying? Who knows? I just go off on tangents. Y'all know me.
Just
Go
keep
ahead.
plugging away. I feel like the word for tonight is growth. Like growth mindset, grow in your business, grow in your personal development. So growth, GROWTH. Grit takes grit. All right. Grit, grace, and hustle. You can say grit or grustle, whatever you want to say, because that was my word for emerald, because hustle with grit is grustle. Resilience. So you got to bounce back when things get tough. Ownership. You have to take ownership and don't be a realtor mentality. Your why. It's going to keep you grounded. Timing. And hope, because that's what we do. We're hope dealers.
Oh my God, that is so good. I'm like shook. Post that, make a graphic and post that in Hope Dealers because that's really good.
Okay. I got it.
Yes. Okay. Well, I won't get on another tangent, but hopefully you guys can see that no matter where you're at right now in your journey, and I say this over and over again, you have the choice to change. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of discipline, and maybe you don't have discipline. And maybe that is something that you're like, okay, like maybe you're the person that's like, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. and I'm going to do my IPA sheet. You do it for one morning and the next morning something throws you off and then you're done, right? Discipline is doing it anyways. Doing it as your kids are screaming. Doing it if you have to, whatever it may be. I know that we had a great Zoom last night with someone and, I'm saying, if you go to the gym at 8:30 in the morning, and that's when you drop your son off, why don't you push it back a little bit, work in your car from 8 to 8:30, and then from 8:30 on, go to the gym, right? Like we have to be problem solvers, right? Like if you only know that you have a certain amount of time that you're going to be able to work your business, then you must come prepared. You have to come prepared, right? And you have to make it work, right? Like there's always going to be something, especially guys with the holidays coming up. Go ahead and prepare what your strategy is to keep your business going. Because let me tell you this, if you sleep on the holidays, I did this my first year in my business and probably my second year too. I did not believe my sponsor. I did not believe her. She was like, listen, if you take off 2 whole months, like if you're literally letting every little thing get to you and, you're not going to plan out your time to work in the morning. She gave me the best advice. She's like, get up like 30 minutes early and just do your stuff. Just do it. It's a season. It's 2 months. Right. And I remember thinking like, I'm not doing that. And then I got caught up in the holidays, stopped reaching out, barely posted. And guess what happened when the holidays were over? I had 0 people to connect with. And when people were ready to get all their like New Year's Eve or like New Year's resolution fitness goals or whatever it may be, because you guys know that if you've been with us, like the spring is killer, right? January, February, March, April, May, like those months are game changer months. Those months are insane. And when you make 0 connection and when you stop posting for one, your credibility goes down. Like they're like, oh, where did she go? Like, does she do Plexus anymore? Like, you don't want people to think that, right? You don't want someone to be like, does she do Plexus anymore? Like, you want to be consistent with your reach outs, with your posting, with inviting to the events that we provide. Like, all of, do it, I say almost double during the holidays, right? Like, get up a little bit earlier. I mean, I'm telling you, please take my advice. Please do not slack over the holidays. Yes, holidays are for spending with family, and we're going to do a bunch of that, right? We're going to eat, and we're going to drink, and we're going to hang out, we're going to watch movies, and whatever it may be. Like, that's inevitable. I'm not telling you not to do that, but before you do that, get your work in. Just get your work in. And if you're sitting down and you're like, I don't even know where to start, honey, go pull the IPA sheet up in Hope Dealers. It's under files. I'm going to direct everybody there. Start there. If you're literally sitting here and like, I don't know what to do when I sit down, start there. Go by one category, 5 reach outs. Do not hop to the next thing until you get those 5 reach outs done. Next thing, follow up. Do not go to the next thing, right? Like, get it in chunks, or get your day. If you're like not an IPA type gal, Monday, get all of your reach outs done. If you send 25 to 30 reach outs in a week, dedicate Monday to those 30 reach outs. Tuesday, back office. Sunday nights, content prep, like prepping your post out. Seriously, like grabbing a post the day of is so 2019, you guys. I'm just kidding. But really, planning your post out gives you so much flexibility to really connect with your audience. And if you're still not learning to do that, like Cindy said, YouTube is amazing. You can learn anything on there. IG is amazing. And so just be aware of what is about to come, right? That's Christmas. That's Christmas in chaos, right? That's like what I call it, Christmas in chaos, because we've all got probably different, got to be here at grandma's house, got to be here at Aunt so-and-so's house, and 20 different places. Like, I get it. And so I just want you guys to not wake up on January 1st and be like, where did my points go? Where did my team go? I'm going to say, where did you go? Right? Like, where did you go? And so, I know this is a lot of like hard truth, but I feel like I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, because I don't want you to wake up on January 1st wondering where the heck everything went. Right. Or I don't want the excuse of, this is just too hard. No. If anyone comes to me on this Zoom, I'm going to look at you and be like, girlfriend, you have been around, you know what's happening, you know what you should be doing. And so I want everyone to, in this year, you have the capability to change where you are right now. Like Allie said, she's going to re-rank Emerald by December 31st. Why can't you re-rank? Why can't you rank? You can do it. Anything is possible. Why can't you earn Leaders Retreat? Why can't you go to Disney for free? Have you even looked have you even brought up the points for Leaders Retreat? And if you're like maybe 200 points within 700 points, have you looked to see what you need to do? Don't be surprised when you don't have 150, PV for or on your subscription, because guess what? If you didn't look, or if you're like, okay, this adding 3 people gives me this many points. You guys, be resourceful, plan it out. If you want to be there, go. There's a whole sheet of how to get there, right? If you want to be Ruby by December 31st, and you're sitting here thinking like, that's impossible, or how do I get there? Duplication, asking for that shout out, asking for wellness events, and not stopping there, creating a door when someone tells you no. That is the biggest thing, is creating that additional door, right? Like, if someone says no to a wellness event, okay, that's fine. Do you know 3 people? Like, going around it, asking, okay, what is the hesitation around a wellness event? Getting around those hesitations are going to open up so much. And just duplication, not quitting on, like I said, not going ghost for 4 or 5 days. If you are on this call, you don't have the choice to go ghost because you are a leader. Like you cannot disappear for 3 to 4 days. Your team will see you do that and they will do that. And so I just want to remind you, you can be in a totally different place December 31st. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are right now. And so I just want you guys to take that to heart, because we are in the middle of the month and you guys know what can happen from here until the end of November, right? Like so much can happen. And so anyways, I'm just so proud of you guys. And I really want you guys to understand how worthy you guys are, truly. Even if you don't feel like it, even if you're sitting here thinking, oh my God, I've totally dropped so many balls lately. Like I feel like I'm dropping balls left and right. You can always start again tomorrow. You can always brain dump. Guys, I know it sounds so stupid, but get a piece of paper out and write every single thing. That's what I've been doing. And it feels so good to get all of that out on paper. And then when you look at the paper, you're like, that's what was overwhelming me. Like, that's what I was stressing about. And so then you put it in categories. Do the hard things first, the easy things last, right? What did Brooke say? We're not going to bake the cookies first. We're going to bake the cookies last, and we're going to send the messages out first, whatever it may be, whatever your heart is. And so anyways, I'm excited for the end of this month and for the end of this year, because I truly believe that we have so much that is about to just explode, because you guys truly, I can see a mindset change in so many of you guys, and I love it. Lean in, take advantage of yourself, of learning, of growing and investing. Like investing, you'll never go broke from investing in yourself. And so I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you, ladies, so much for sharing. Cindy, thank you so much. I don't think there was like a dry eye on this Zoom. So love you so much. I will have this recording up. Promise you guys it will be up in a timely manner. Bye, you guys.